Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bajahure Mana, Bajahure Mana, Shinanda Nandana, Abhaya Charana Ravindare, Shinanda Nandana, Abhaya Charana Ravindare. Tulabha Manabha Janamah Satsanye, Tulabha Manabha Janchena Satsanye, Taraho E Babo Sindure, Taraho E Babo Sindure. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Edana Yovana Putra Parijana, Edana Yovana Putra Parijana, Edana Yovana Putra Parijana, Edana Iteke Ache Paratitire, Iteke Ache Paratitire, Kamala Dalla Jala Jivana Tala Mala, Kamala Dalla Jala Jivana Tala Mala, Bajahu Hari Padani Tire, Bajahu Hari Padani Tire. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana, Smarana Kirtana Smarana Vandana, Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana, Shravana Kirtana Pada Sevana Dasyare, Pada Sevana Dasyare, Pujana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana, Pujana Sakhi Jana Atmani Vedana, Govinda Dasa Vilasyare, Govinda Dasa Vilasyare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Pajahure mana, Pajahure mana, Shinandanandana, Abhaya Charanaravindare, Shinandanandana, Abhaya Charanaravindaré, Durlabha Manabha Janamaha Satsangye, Durlabha Manabha Janamaha Satsangye, Taraho e Baba Sindure, Taraho e Baba Sindure, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur, Premanandi Ki Jai. Just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, Krishna, who makes one fearless. Having obtained this rare human birth, cross over this ocean of worldly existence through the association of saintly persons. Both in the day and night, I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of heat and cold, the wind and the rain. For a fraction of flickering happiness, I have uselessly served wicked and miserly men. What assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons, and family members? This life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lord Hari. It is the desire and great longing of Govinda Dasa to engage himself in the 9 processes of bhakti, namely hearing the glories of Lord Hari, or Krishna, and chanting those glories, constantly remembering him and offering prayers to him, serving the Lord's lotus feet, serving the Supreme Lord as a servant, worshipping him with flowers and incense and so forth, serving him as a friend, and completely offering the Lord one's very self. Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari, He Nath Narayana Vasudevaya. Wait, I'll tell you. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari, He Nath Narayana Vasudevaya. 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 Ekmata Swami Sakha Hamare, He Nath Narayana Vasudevaya. Ekmata Swami Sakha Hamare, He Nath Narayana Vasudevaya. Pandiga ke tuma avatari, kahi janme kahi pale murari. Quiet. किसी के जाए किसी के कहाए, हे अद्भुत हार बतती हारी. गोकुल में चमकी मधुर के तारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवाय. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari, He Nath Narayana Vasudevaya. He Nath Narayana Vasudevaya. He Nath Narayana Vasudevaya. He Nath Narayana Vasudevaya. Adar men bansi daye men radhe, bat gaye dono men ade ade. He Radhanagar he Bhakta Vatsal, Sadaiva Bhakto ke kamsade. Vahin gaye chaha. Vahin gaye, jaha gaye pukare. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari, He Nath Narayana Vasudevaya. Gopala, Gopala, Yashoda Nandana Gopala, 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 Yashoda Nandana Gopala, 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 Yashoda Nandana Gopala. Gopala, Gopala, Yashoda Nandana Gopala, bolo. Gopala, Gopala, Yashoda Nandana Gopala, bolo. Gopala, Gopala, Yashoda Nandana Gopala. Gopala, Gopala, Yashoda Nandana Gopala. Gopala, Gopala, Yashoda Nandana Gopala, bolo. Gopala, Gopala, Yashoda Nandana Gopala. 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Gopala, Gopala, Yashoda Nandana Gopala. Hey Gopala, Gopala, Yashoda Nandana Gopala. Gopala, Gopala, Yashoda Nandana Gopala. Hey Gopala, Gopala, Yashoda Nandana Gopala. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gita Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol. Nita Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gora Hari Bol. Gaura Premanandi Ki Jai. Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala. Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala. Govinda Govinda Gopala. Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala. Govinda Govinda Gopala. Bhaja Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala. Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala. Bhaja Bhaja Govinda Govinda Gopala. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Bhaja Govinda, Govinda Gopala. Bhaja Govinda, Govinda Gopala. Govinda, Govinda Gopala. Bhaja Govinda, Govinda Gopala. Shri Radha Nilamadava ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Gaur Premanande Haribo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Today we're going to hear why I joined the Hare Krishna movement. Sometimes people ask me that question, so I'm going to explain why I joined. Of course, I was born a Christian. I'm still a Christian. I still believe in Jesus Christ. But that did not stop me from accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, the Father of Christ. When you have a name, just like, Prabhu, what is your name? What's your first name? Sudam Baranada, and your last name? Jay Balan, right? So is your last name your family name?
It's actually my name, but that is still my family name.
Okay. So Jesus Christ means he's Jesus, the Son of Christ. Christ in English is Christ, but in Greek is Christos, and in Sanskrit is Christa. It's coming from the Sanskrit. Christa, Christos, Christ. So Jesus is the son of Krishna, Krista. Krista is the diminutive name of Krishna. So, therefore, when I understood that, then I saw, wait a minute, there's no problem here. Because Jesus said, I've come in the name of my Father. Who's the Father of Christ? Krishna. So now we have a strong understanding of how God works. He sends his Son, Jesus. He sends his pure devotee, like Prabhupada. He sends great acharyas, like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya. These are all his representatives to help people understand the relationship with God. And they introduce people to Krishna, and then they teach people how to act in that relationship, and by acting in that relationship, gradually they develop love and pure devotion for the Lord, and they go back to Godhead, where they belong. This is the whole program of all the great preachers throughout history. It's called Sambandha and Prayojana. In other words, meeting up, finding out about your relationship, Sambandha, Abhideya, and then acting in that relationship, and through acting in that relationship, Prayojana, developing love and complete devotion. These are the 3 steps by which people can go back to Godhead. Just like people go to convention, let's say the doctor's convention or a stockbroker's convention. Why do they go to these conventions? To meet other people on the same line and be introduced to them. And once you give your card and someone gives you their card, right? Then after the convention, you call them up and say, hey, I'd like to get to know you better and your company. And they said, yeah, we sell this, we sell that. And then a relationship starts. And then people start acting in that relationship. And all of a sudden, when they make billions of dollars through that relationship, they love that person, right? And if they lose money, they hate that person, right? But see, there's meeting, developing a relationship, developing love. Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. So, Krishna explains who he is. The Bhagavad Gita is the autobiography of Lord Krishna. The autobiography of God speaking about himself to explain himself to others. That's what this book is all about. So, no one knows Krishna better than Krishna himself. No one can explain more about Krishna than Krishna himself. And he's not explaining to people who are, let's say, doubtful. He's explaining to Arjuna, who already is a friend of Krishna, who already has faith in Krishna, who already is not envious of Krishna. So, therefore, Bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi tad uttamam. Arjuna, as Krishna tells Arjuna, I'm speaking to you this most secret of all secrets, this Bhagavad Gita, because you're my friend, you're my devotee, and you're not envious of me. So these are 3 qualifications we need in order to understand God. But how can you become his friend unless you've been introduced to him? How can you become non-envious of him unless you realize how great he is and how it's impossible for us ever to be equal to him or greater than him? And how can you learn to love him unless you know about all his wonderful qualities and you enter into a relationship? So that relationship is based on bhakti, pure devotion. That's what we're teaching here. Bhakti yoga means 2 people, the lover and the beloved, the server and the served. So in every situation in life, we develop feelings due to relationship. If I say, love the sky, well, yes, maybe I can love the sky a little bit, but I don't have like this close relationship with the sky. But if I say, love your child, that's easy, because your child is completely dependent on you. So, in the same way, as we progress in spiritual life, we learn that there are intimate relationships with Krishna. You can be Krishna's servant. You can be Krishna's friend. You can be Krishna's parent. You can be Krishna's lover. These are 4 types of very intimate relationships. And also, you can be the meditator on Krishna, the contemplative who's always observing the Lord with great satisfaction. That's called a neutral relationship. But when that neutral relationship evolves, it becomes active, such as servitorship, friendship, parental, or conjugal. So, therefore, Krishna advises to Arjuna, he says, look, always think of me, become my devotee, and worship me, and offer all your respect and homage unto me. If you do this, then you'll be completely absorbed in me through meditation and service, and therefore you will come back to me. He's promising this. So whenever we love someone, we get absorbed by them. We're thinking of them all the time. Just like a mother is always thinking about her children, and 2 lovers are always thinking about each other. In the same way, when we develop that feeling that I have to be close to Krishna all the time, then something very wonderful happens. You become Krishna conscious. You're always thinking of Krishna. So that may happen, may not happen, unless you have an impetus, something that pushes you toward it. The impetus and the introduction of Krishna comes through the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And as we've explained before, this mantra means, Dear Radharani, dear Krishna, please protect me so I can always remain your servitor in this world. And this is basically what Lord Chaitanya prayed to Krishna. He said, Na danam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam ba jagadisha kamaye, mama janmani janmani sware, bhavatad bhaktira haituki tvaye. He said, my dear Lord, I have no desire for wealth. I don't want any partners to victimize for my sense gratification. And I don't want any number of followers or prestige or fame. All I want in my life is your service, birth after birth. In other words, I don't want liberation either. Doesn't matter, as long as I can serve you. So this is the sincere feelings of a devotee. The devotee is satisfied simply by service of the Lord. It doesn't matter whether they're rich, poor, famous, infamous, whatever. The service of the Lord is what counts. And that can be done. No one can stop you from serving Krishna. It's impossible. Because if you cannot serve physically, you can also serve mentally. Both services are accepted by Krishna. See? So, there's a beautiful poem about Krishna that says, any person who's engaged in the worship of devatas or demigods is not really intelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of loving Krishna. The devotee in the beginning may fall from the standard, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who always engages in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be a perfectly saintly person. His accidental non-devotional activities will diminish, and he will soon be situated without any doubt in complete perfection. The pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down because the Supreme Godhead personally takes care of his pure devotees. Therefore, the intelligent person should take directly to the process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in this material world. He or she will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. So these are the type of statements that inspired me to become a devotee. When I understood that Krishna is the only person that can free us of our previous karma, and by engaging in Krishna's service, one can be purified completely of the desire and attraction to sinful activities. That inspired me. Because every one of us has a certain karmic destiny from previous life. And we don't know what it is until it actually happens. Just like we're all sitting here peacefully right now, but tonight when you go home, you could have an accident. You could die, or you could be paralyzed, or you could just be shaken up. We don't know. Just like at any moment, something can happen, and it can be a tragedy. So therefore, we have a real interest in getting what's called indemnification. That means your karma is put on hold. When it's put on hold, then you have a chance to become Krishna conscious. And this is explained extensively in the Bhagavad Gita and the Vedic scriptures. And this is why I joined Krishna consciousness, because I was concerned about my karma. Something that I don't know, but I don't know when or it's going to happen, but I do know one thing, it's going to happen, and I don't know if it's good or bad. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, because I don't remember what I did in my previous life or in previous lifetimes. Okay? So therefore, if there's some way I can put a check on that, I'm free to engage in Krishna's service without any worries. Now, I don't want to be free to engage in sense gratification without any worries, because sense gratification is the reason why we have become caught up in the cycle of birth and death and the karmic cycle. What I want to do is be free of all karmic reactions so that I can engage in Krishna's service without any interruption. That includes good and bad. Good and bad karma are both bad, because in order to enjoy good karma, you have to take birth again. And in order to receive bad karma, you have to take birth again. So therefore, the purpose of human life is not to continually be stuck in the cycle of birth and death. The purpose of human life is we're endowed with great intelligence, great facility of these five senses, to use them to understand how we can free ourselves from this cycle of birth and death. Not only ourselves, our family members, our loved ones, our neighbors, everyone. So that is our real destiny. There's fate and there's destiny. Fate means what's going to happen to you. It's already predetermined by your previous karma. Destiny means what you are going to evolve by your actions today and thoughts and desires. So we want to eliminate our fate and build our destiny. The destiny of eternal life in the spiritual world with people that we love. And actually, our circle of love increases as our devotion to Krishna increases. So there was once a professor who claimed that if God knows everything, then his foreknowing makes people like puppets or machines. Persons who think of God like himself have no knowledge of God, and therefore they become very foolish in life. So, if God knows everything, that means that we all have a predestined, let's say, fate, and we don't have any independence. This is not true. Yes, God knows everything, but He has given us an opportunity to free ourselves of our previous karma through chanting Hare Krishna and engaging in devotion. Only Krishna can put a stop to our karma, nobody else. Not even Lord Shiva, not even Lord Brahma. who are the two greatest personalities next to Krishna in the universe. Even though Lord Shiva is Amara and Lord Brahma has a very, very long duration of life, both of them are not able to give someone relief from karma and previous destiny. So, if Krishna is the giver, he's called Mukunda, the giver of liberation. How does he do this? Well, if let's say you're on death row, and you've already been convicted, and your execution date is already given, but if you make a plea to the President of the United States, even though you've been convicted, even though your execution date is set, if he pardons you, the judge can't pardon you. They already convicted you. But if the President of the United States wants to pardon you, he can, and you will not be executed. So in the same way, Krishna is the creator of the law of karma. Therefore, if he wants, he can release us from our karmic debt. Therefore, this is explained by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, where he says, Sarvadharmam parityaja ma'amekam saranam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo moksisyami mahasucha. 1865, Krishna says, just give up all your types of misconceptions of life and surrender unto me. If you do this, I will protect you from all sinful reactions. In other words, all your karmic reactions. Therefore, you have nothing to fear, nothing to hesitate for, nothing to doubt. So, he also repeats this. Lord Brahma says the same thing. He says, Yastrindra gopam atavendra ahosvakarma bandhanu rupa falabhajanam atanoti karma pi nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. In the Brahma Samhita verse 54, he says, let me offer my most humble obeisances unto the original personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who can regulate the sufferings and enjoyments of fruitive activity for everyone. In other words, he can eliminate the good and bad karma of everyone, from the heavenly king Indra down to the smallest insect. That very personality of Godhead destroys the fruitive karma of one engaged in devotional service. So, this indicates that the way to become free from our karmic debt is to engage in the service of Krishna. The number one service that one can perform is to chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Just by chanting Hare Krishna even once, it can eliminate more sins than we can create in many lifetimes if we chant sincerely. And secondly, by continuing to chant, eventually the desire to sin will also be purified. Purifying sins is not that complicated. Purifying the desire to sin is very complicated. Because for many, many births and deaths, we have been attracted to this material world. But that we can break that attraction by chanting the name of the Lord, regularly hearing the pastimes of the Lord. As we're hearing right now, Krishna can free us from our karmic debt. And regularly taking Mahaprasadam, the sanctified food offered to the Lord, and regularly engaging in the service of the Lord. So, anyone who surrenders to Krishna, his fate is altered. In other words, what we're destined to get is stopped. And secondly, his destiny becomes bright. Because by acting in Krishna consciousness, we create the basis for our eventual complete liberation from the cycle of birth and death. So Krishna takes special charge, gives special attention to his devotees who take up this path. And Krishna will do everything to help the devotee overcome all obstacles on the path of devotion so that they can come back to him. This is his mercy. This is his prasad. Krishna prasad is not only the food that is sanctified by Krishna, but it is also the intelligence that he gives us by which we make the right decisions in life so that we do not become entangled again in the karmic cycle of birth and death. That intelligence, Krishna says, Tesam satata yuktanam vajatam pratipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam yenamam upayantite. Those who engage in my service, I give them the knowledge by which they come to me. So spiritual knowledge is not something academic. You cannot learn it in a university. Yes, you can study Bhagavad Gita in Washington, University of Washington or Harvard, but you will not understand the deep meanings of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, is revealed knowledge. He says, Te samaham ahamakam paratam agyana mam. He says that I, dwelling in the heart, light up with the lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So Krishna from the heart will reveal to you the meanings of Bhagavad Gita, but that you cannot get that simply by academic study. Why? Because unless we rise above the influence of the three modes of material nature, sattva, rajas, and tamas, we're not able to fully grasp the meaning of Bhagavad Gita. It's just like if I put ear muffins on your ears during the class, you will not be able to hear it properly. Right? You can hear something, but you won't catch everything because your ear holes are plugged. In the same way, our senses limit us from understanding spiritual knowledge as long as we're attracted to material things. As soon as we break that attraction and see how everything material belongs to Krishna and should be used in Krishna's service, our eyes open up, our ears open up, and our intelligence becomes very active to understand the difference between self-interested activities and pure devotion. This is actually the hardest thing to understand. Like, for example, when two people get married, they say, I love you, I love you. And if you ask them, why do you love your husband, or why do you love your wife? They'll say, well, because she looks very pretty, or he's a nice guy, or he brings me money home, or we go on vacation often, whatever. There's many, many reasons they can give. But as time goes on, the nature of that love can change because of different problems that arise. And eventually they say, well, I used to love my husband a lot, but I don't like him so much anymore. Or I used to love my wife very much, but now she gives me a lot of headaches, so I'm not so enamored. So these changes of mind occur rather frequently in material life due to material attachment. However, when one acts out of duty, duty means a moral obligation. So if one accepts the vow of marriage, then what is the vow of marriage in the Vedic tradition? The vow is we shall never be separated in this lifetime. So that becomes a moral obligation, regardless of what may be said or what may be done. The husband and wife have a moral obligation to stay together. Number one, to raise their children. And number two, because they made a vow of marriage before God. That's the whole vow of marriage. So how can we break a vow? If you break a vow, you're no longer a real person because you cannot be trusted. Now, Krishna asked his devotee, especially the spiritual master asked the devotee at the point of initiation into Krishna consciousness, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication. And every day chant at least 16 rounds on your beads. Hare Krishna, read Bhagavad Gita, take only prasadam, and engage in service. So this is a vow, just like the vow of marriage. And if we take it seriously, we avoid most of the problems of life. Therefore, our destiny changes. Our future changes. The one thing that is not regulated by the law of karma is surrender to Krishna. In other words, anyone, even the worst person in the world, if they decide to surrender to Krishna, Krishna will take care of them. They will help them by giving them the intelligence, as I said, to make the right choices in life. This is the problem with going to prison. Prison is a type of punishment to teach us not to perform crime in the future. Well, this body and the material world and the laws of material nature is a prison house, and it's punishing us until we realize we should follow the principles of Dharma strictly to avoid unnecessary suffering, to avoid unnecessary problems in life, so that we have the equilibrium of the mind to proceed in Krishna consciousness. So for a devotee, the future is changed. The future becomes bright. So anyone who surrenders to Krishna, the destiny is changed by the omnipotency of the Lord, the extreme power of the Lord. Krishna takes charge of the devotee and guides the devotee by giving him intelligence, or her intelligence, to go back to Godhead. This is the mercy of God. He knows everything, and still he says, Sarvadharman Parityaja. For example, the United States government or the state government of Washington knows everything when they give you a license to drive. They know what will happen to you if you follow all the rules of driving, and they know what will happen to you if you don't follow. But they don't force you not to follow, and they don't force you to follow. They highly recommend you follow, but they also say if you don't follow, then there are consequences. So in the same way, Krishna knows everything, whether you follow or you don't follow. Just like the state of Washington knows everything, whether you follow or don't follow the rules of driving. Krishna knows what will happen to you if you follow. You'll go back to Godhead. And Krishna knows what will happen to you if you don't follow. You'll remain in the cycle of birth and death. So, but he doesn't force you either way. He gives you the opportunity to choose at every moment either to follow or not follow his instructions. Just like the state of Washington gives you the opportunity, the leeway, the discretionary power to choose whether you want to go 35 in a 35-mile-an-hour zone, or whether you want to go 65 in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. They haven't put a chip either in the car or you yet. That might happen in the future. But that chip will force you, when you start going faster than the speed limit, to go slower. But see, then you're going to be like a robot. You'll be, it's just like on the computer, there's Intel inside. In the future, it will be Nippon inside, or Samsung inside, your brain. That chip will force you to do the right thing. But Krishna is not like that. He doesn't force you. Why? Because a robot doesn't really love. Only a person who has free will can learn to love. Just like two people get married, they're not forced to love each other. It's voluntary. And they're not forced to continue loving each other for their entire life. It's voluntary. But if both of them act properly, the love remains strong. You see? So, Krishna is the same thing. He is guaranteeing us that he will protect us from our karma if we remain faithful to him and his instructions. So, who is stronger, Krishna or the laws of nature? Krishna. So there are different philosophies in India. One is called Karma Mimamsa philosophy that says that the law of karma is superior to Krishna, even though he created it. That's called an atheistic philosophy. Atheistic philosophies subordinate Krishna to the laws of nature or to some mundane principle. But theistic philosophy always emphasizes that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to him, no one is greater than him, and everything is subordinate to him, including the laws of material nature. He's the controller. Now, how do we know that? We have seen in the Vedic history how Krishna has reversed people's karma. Like, for example, when Arjuna was fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was destined to be killed by Bhisma Pitamaha, because Bhisma Pitamaha was superior to him. He wasn't a human being, a normal human being. He was a Devata. His mother was Ganga Devi. His father was Santanu, but his mother was Ganga. So therefore, he had been trained up until 16 years in the heavenly planets. Therefore, he was not an ordinary person. And his arrows were invincible. But during the Battle of Kurukshetra, Bhisma Pitama promised Duryodhana he would do his best to kill Arjuna and the Pandavas. So, during one day of the battle, Bhisma Pitama shot his invincible arrows and destroyed the chariot of Arjuna. And they were in a very vulnerable position. He was going to kill them. Well, Krishna had promised that he would never fight in the Battle of Kurukshetra. He would simply be the chariot driver of Arjuna. But when he saw this dire situation, Krishna says, Shripam bhavati dharmatma satsvachantim negachyati konteya pratijanihi name bhakta panasyati. He said, declare it boldly, Arjuna, that my devotee will never perish. So Krishna picked up one of the wheels of the chariot that had been broken and started to spin it like a chakra, right? Because as Narayana, he has a chakra. And at that point, whenever Krishna comes, all his incarnations come with him. They're within him. So at that point, when he took up the position of belligerency, his Narayana form was manifest. And Bhisma Pitama worshipped Krishna, but he was attached to Krishna's form as Narayana. So this was a chance for Bhisma to see that form that he worshipped particularly. So Arjuna is worshipping Krishna as two-armed form. Right? But Bhisma Pitamaha, although he knew who Krishna was, his attraction was to Narayana. So now Narayana appears with the chakra in his arm, and he's running toward Bhisma Dev to kill him. And Bhisma says, aha, aha, I see, now I see the truth. You were willing to lie to protect your devotee. You promised not to fight. Now you're breaking your promise. This proves konteya pratijanihi name bhakta panasyati, that you will always act to protect your devotee, even if you turn into a liar. And Krishna smiled, and Bhisma Dev smiled, and he didn't kill him. Right? But later on, when the Battle of Kurukshetra was over, Arjuna, after that, basically killed Bhisma. But he didn't kill him because Bhisma Dev was a perfect yogi. His body was shot with many, many arrows from Arjuna. He was stuck to the ground by so many arrows. And he had to wait there. That was on the 10th day of the Battle of Kurukshetra. He had to wait there until the battle was over and until all the funeral services were done. And then Krishna and Yudhisthira came, and all the other Pandavas and many other people and great sages and demigods came to see Lord Bhisma on his bed of arrows. And by that time he no longer had any blood, and he hardly had any flesh left on his body, but he was still alive because he was a perfect yogi. And at that time, Yudhisthira was in a great dilemma. He did not want to become king, even though Krishna was asking him. So, at that time, Bhisma Pitamaha convinced Yudhisthira to become the king. Krishna arranged this because he wanted to see his devotee glorified. He wanted his devotee, Bhisma Pitamaha, to do something that seemingly he was not able to do, so that he would receive the glory. You see, just like Arjuna, when the Battle of Kurukshetra was over, Arjuna said to Krishna, please Krishna, now you can step off the chariot. And Krishna said, no, you step off first. Arjuna said, no, this is not right. Out of respect for you, you step off first. And he said, no, you listen to what I say, Arjuna. You step off first. So Arjuna stepped off first. See, that's a devotee. Even though the devotee might have a different opinion than the Lord, he accepts the Lord's opinion as the final opinion. He accepts. And the demons, they have a different opinion of the Lord. The Lord advises them not to do something. They don't listen. Even though the Lord advises them, they don't listen. Like Ravana didn't listen. Hiranyakashipu didn't listen. So, in this way, Arjuna stepped off, and then Hanuman, which is on the flag of the chariot, jumped off the chariot. Don't think that Hanuman was not there. even though it was a picture of Hanuman on the flag, he was actually there, and he jumped out of the picture off the chariot. And as soon as Krishna stepped off the chariot, it burst into flames. And Arjuna saw this and said, my God, what's the meaning of this? And Krishna said, Arjuna, you were destined to die. But because I was with you, Bhisma Pitama's arrows were not able to reach you. They only destroyed the chariot, not you. But if I had gotten off the chariot before you, you would have died. You see? So, Konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyate. Krishna always protects his devotee. So, isn't this an incentive for us to become Krishna's devotee? I joined for these two reasons. I joined Krishna consciousness for these two reasons. Number one, it's the only way, by chanting Hare Krishna and engaging in the Lord's service, it's the only way to annul your previous karma. That means you're free. That means you don't have to worry about the future. Whatever happens in the future, well, there will only be a token suffering. It will not be the full suffering we're destined to get because Krishna is protecting us. And number two, Krishna protects you from that point on. He becomes your friend. He becomes your savior. He becomes your confidant. He becomes your inspirer. He inspires you with good intelligence to make the right decisions in life. So, aren't these good reasons to surrender to Krishna, to take up devotional service, to start to chant Hare Krishna? No one else can promise you this. You can go to Geico Insurance. They cannot promise you this. You can go to the palm reader, right? Or the astrologer. They cannot promise you this. You can go to Barack Hussein. He cannot promise you this. See? You can go to anybody in this world, even the Devatas. They cannot promise you this. Only Krishna can give this. He can deliver. As he delivered to Arjuna, as he delivered to the Pandavas, as he delivered over and over to his devotees. He delivered to Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya, several times, his life was in danger. His guru wanted to kill him and tried. And the Chola king tried to kill him. In fact, he already had him captured. But Ramanuja dressed as one of his devotees, and one of his devotees dressed as him. And he escaped, and his devotee was blinded by the king. See? Several times there were attempts to kill Ramanujacharya. He was always saved. And he lived to be a ripe old age and established the Sri Vaishnava tradition in a very powerful way. Actually, what Ramanuja did, he united the South Indian Vaishnavas and the North Indian Vaishnavas. The North Indian Vaishnavas were always writing in Sanskrit. And the South Indian Vaishnavas, especially in Tamil Nadu, were always writing in Tamil. So they couldn't understand each other. So Ramanuja started to translate everything into Sanskrit. Then they came closer. They were able to understand each other, you see? So, therefore, there were once three men. They met each other in the desert, but they couldn't speak the same language. And they were very thirsty. So one of them said, I have a good idea in his language. He said, Angur. If we had some grapes, it would satisfy our hunger and our thirst. And another one said that in a different language, another name of a grape. It was a grape, but it was in a different language, so they couldn't understand. And then the third person, he spoke another language. He said it, grape also, but in a different language. So they couldn't understand each other. So one man arrived in that desert place, and he gave them grapes, and they all became happy, and it saved their life. If they stood there arguing, they would have never, let's say, remained alive. They would have eventually died, because they couldn't understand each other. But the man that arrived understood all three of them, and he brought them what they needed. Say. So in the same way, Ramanuja bridged the gap between South Indian Vaishnavas and North Indian Vaishnavas by translating Tamil literature and the philosophy that he was teaching of Vasistha Advaita into Sanskrit. In the same way, we need to understand Bhagavad Gita. But you cannot understand simply by academics. You can only enter into the secret of Bhagavad Gita by engaging in Krishna's service, by chanting Hare Krishna, by taking prasadam, and above all, by listening to Shiksha and Diksha gurus, experts in the process of devotion, in the Bhagavad Gita knowledge, and who practice themselves. Okay, so you can change your destiny by devotional service. Otherwise, we have to continue to suffer, not knowing what's going to happen to us. And we're going to suffer and enjoy, and it's going to be a mixed bag, and it's going to confuse us. However, for a devotee, whatever it may be, he takes the opportunity to chant Hare Krishna, and if by Krishna's grace destiny is changed, then everything is all right. So we should depend on Krishna's grace. That is our message today. Take up Krishna consciousness seriously, free yourself from your karma, and engage in a very productive life of devotion in which para upakar, you do good to yourself, to your family, and to everyone in the world by spreading Krishna consciousness. Just like yesterday, we were at the Derby Days Festival in Redmond, and we had a booth. And one little 4-year-old girl came up. She was a little African-American girl with her grandmother. And she was telling one of the devotees how her mother and father had died. And now she's living with her grandmother. And the devotee said, if you chant Hare Krishna, then you will be happy. And she said, but I'm not happy. My mom and dad are dead. She said, you chant Hare Krishna. And she taught her, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the little girl, she's only 4 years old, she said, if I chant this, will I be happy? And the devotee said, yes. She said, then I'm going to chant. She said, Grandma, I'm going to chant this. And she was given the card, the Hare Krishna card. She said, Grandma, I'm going to chant this from now on. You see, she was innocent, but she was also suffering, even at such a young age. And she immediately took up the mantra Hare Krishna. Immediately, because of her innocence. Now, other people, they have PhDs, they have master's degrees, I don't know what else they have. They come and we say, chant Hare Krishna. So, I don't know, I'm doing pranayama, you know. They say, they're not able to understand. This girl was able to understand because of her innocence. She had not committed any sinful activity and she had suffered. Okay? So, we should become innocent. When you chant Hare Krishna, your sins are eradicated, you become more innocent. And then you realize, I should take this up for the rest of my life. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions you would like to ask? Any questions? There should be one question every time. Somebody ask a question. The way to approach spiritual knowledge is by asking questions. Questions remove your doubts. And everybody has doubts. Everybody has questions. If you address your questions to a bona fide person, they can answer them. So is there any question anyone wants to ask? Ladies? Yes. Okay. Okay, the ladies first. Go ahead. When you begin to start the process of devotion, how do you perceive God? Is that your question? Oh, why do we wear tilak? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, first of all, understand the meaning of tilak. You have 2 lines here and like a diamond shape here, right? This represents that in this body there are 2 souls. God is present as Paramatma, the Super Soul, and I am present as Jivatma, the servant of God. And we're united through Bhakti Yoga. That's what that middle diamond shape is. We're united together in a solid relationship through devotion. God is the served, and I'm the server. God is the beloved, and I'm the lover. Right? So this mark of tilak represents the fact that I have taken up the life of devotion. And I have full faith that God is in my heart, is my protector, my guide, and my savior. Okay? Yes. So somebody else had a question? Stop. You had a question, Prabhu?
Prabhu, now when we are chanting 16 times every day, and in case, it so happens that you might not be able to chant 16 rounds because it takes over 2 hours, 2+ hours. So, in case, you have taken a vow, but still you are not able to do it, what's the remedy?
Okay. This is a good question. We recommend that people chant 16 rounds on the beads every day. That takes about 2 hours, right? Now, you cannot do it right away. So you start with 1 every day. And then when you're secure in doing 1 every day, now you do 2 every day. And when you're secure doing 2, you do 4 every day. And when you're secure doing 4, you do 8. And that way you come up to 16. By the time you come up to 16, you will have regulated your personal habits by going to sleep early and waking up early, way before you have to go to work. And you'll be able to chant your rounds. And you will have already developed the power to, in the early morning, to close everything else out of your mind and simply focus on chanting Hare Krishna. If you do that, then you will be able to chant 16 rounds in 1 hour and 10 minutes or 1 hour and 20 minutes. All right? But you work up to that gradually. And you'll be able to do it every day because of your regularity. There was an article in the newspaper yesterday. There's the oldest Catholic priest in the world is 107 years old. And they asked him, "Father, how have you lived so long?" And he said, "By strictly following the schedule of the church. Early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." So he says, I go to sleep every night 9 o'clock, and I wake up 4 o'clock. This is what people who are highly effective in life do. You want to be highly effective? Okay, you start with 1 round a day, but you keep getting more information how to regulate yourself. Not only it will increase your lifespan and your health, but you'll be able to easily chant 16 rounds every day. You might not do it right away. It's a gradual process. But gradually, as you get more information, as you get more confidence, and as you get more regulated, you will do it easily. Just like the first day you try and play the violin, it sounds like this. Right? But by practicing, little by little, all of a sudden you're playing, Brahms or Beethoven's 5th Symphony on the violin. You can play anything you want. You get the freedom of the instrument. But in the beginning, it sounded like scratches on a cement wall. You see? So, practice makes perfect. 2 things now. Early to bed, early to rise, makes a person healthy, wealthy, and wise. Number 2, practice makes perfect. And number 3, most important, you have to get regulated. Those persons who are regulated, they live longer, they're happier, they're healthier. Eating at any time during the day. And eating, all kinds of junk food. And going to sleep late at night, waking up late. All this is a formula to die young. So let's learn from this Catholic priest. Actually, we should learn from our own acharyas. This is what our acharyas have been doing for thousands of years. But somehow or other, we've been cut off from that tradition due to modern education. Modern education teaches you to be unregulated, to be addicted to sense gratification, and gradually lose all faith in God. That's what modern education is about. But our Vedic knowledge gives you faith in Krishna, keeps you healthy, and gives you wealth. The wealth is health. Real wealth is health. And gives you a long life to do good things. Para upakar. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we will have the arti now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Where's the small drum? Small drum. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Find it. Ask it. Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitya Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol. Nitya Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol. Gaur Premanandi ki jai. Jayo Jaya Gaura Chande Arati ke Soba. Jayo Jaya Gaura Chande Arati ke Soba. Janaki Tata Bane Jagamana Loba. Jayo Jaya Gaura Chande Arati ke Soba. Janaki Tata Bane Jagamana Loba. Janaki Tata Bane Kibadati Nitaya Chan Bandingada Dhara. Kibadati Nitaya Chan Bandingada Dhara. Bandingada Dhara. Ekate Advaita Shini Vasacha Dara. Ekate Advaita Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Kibaboshi Nachingora Chan Ratna Singha Sane. Aroti Kore Na Brahma Adi Devakane. Aroti Kore Na Brahma Adi Devakane. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Kibasara Hari Adhikari Chamaradulaya. Kibanara Hari Adhikari Chamaradulaya. Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Gosadigaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeba Shankar, Bhaje Ganga, Bhaje Kara Kala. Shankar, Bhaje Ganga, Bhaje Kara Kala. Sanjaya Madhurami Ganga Bhaje Paramarasala Madhurami Ganga Bhaje. Guru Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Lord Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Lord Hari Bol. Jai Lord Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Lord Hari Bol. Jai Lord Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Lord Hari Bol. Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujvala. Kiba Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujvala. Lala Dese Bana Mala Kare Jala Mala Galan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Kiba Shiva Sukha Narada Preme Gada Gada Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe Gorara Sampada Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe Gorara Sampada Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Govinda bolo Hari Gopala bolo Govinda bolo Hari Gopala bolo Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo Govinda bolo Gopala bolo Govinda bolo Gopala bolo Govinda bolo Gopala bolo Govinda bolo Hari Gopala bolo Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Govinda bolo Gopala bolo Govinda bolo Gopala bolo Govinda bolo Hari Gopala bolo Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo Govinda bolo Gopala bolo Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Bo Hare Bo Hare Bo Hare Bo Nitya Gaur Hare Bo Hare Bo Hare Bo Hare Bo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlada Dayini Prahlada Dayini Hiranyakashipu Bhaksha Shilatam Ganakalaye Ito Nishinha Parato Nishinha Ito Nishinha Parato Nishinha Yato Yamitato Nishinha Yato Yamitato Nishinha Vaye Nishinha Hidaye Nishinha Vaye Nishinha Hidaye Nishinha Narashinapadim Saranam Prapadim Tavakara Kamala Bade Nakam Advuta Singham Lalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubingam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Tavakara Kamala Pare Nakam Adhuta Singam Lalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bingam Kesavajita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Keshavajita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Kesavajita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Bolo Keshavajita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare Bolo Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Keshavajita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Jagadesha Hare Jaya Narasingha Jaya Narasingha Jaya Narasingha Jaya Narasingha Jaya Narasingha Dev Jaya Narasingha Dev Jaya Narasingha Dev Jaya Narasingha Dev Narasingha Dev Bhagavan Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Parvaj Vichastatara Satarishi Shri Shrimad's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Adanta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samkunda Radha Kunda Giri Udan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mayapura Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Jamuna Maya Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. We want to thank our sponsors tonight for the Sunday Feast. It's a wonderful thing to sponsor the Sunday Feast, especially on special occasions in your life, like marriages, like birthdays, and other important dates that you have. It's a way of getting the mercy of Radha and Krishna and all the devotees who appreciate your effort of sponsoring the feast and having the holy prasadam distributed to everyone. Every Sunday there's between 5, 6, 7, 800 people that come here, and they all get Mahaprasadam thanks to your sponsorship. So tonight we want to thank Anchal Nema and Divya Nayak. Anchal Nema and Divya Nayak. If they are present, please come forward to get Radha and Krishna's mercy. Also, we want to thank Anaga Lakshmi Badri's birthday. So, Anaga Lakshmi Badri's birthday tonight. So, if Anaga is here with her parents, please come forward. We want to thank also Deepak Kumar and Nupur Agarwal. It's on the occasion of their son Ayan's 14th birthday. So if Ayan is here, please come forward. If Ayan is here. So Anchal Nema and Divya Nayak, Anaga Lakshmi Badri's birthday, and Deepak Kumar Nupur Agarwal's son Ayan's 14th birthday. Hare Krishna. Do we have a cake? Is there a cake? Is it there? Is there a cake? And we want to thank tonight Deepak Kumar and Nupur Agarwal. They've donated $1,001 on the occasion of Ayan's 14th birthday. Next week at the temple, on the 16th and 17th of July, we have Bala Mela, Children's Festival. If you would like to enroll your child in this festival, there are a lot of different fun competitions. We also have a training for the children to engage in these competitions. You can see Namapriya Devidasi downstairs. She's at the cow booth, and she's organizing the Bala Mela for children next week on the 16th and 17th. And also, our major festival is coming up, Ananda Mela, on July 30th and 31st in Redmond City Hall campus. There are many fun competitions. There's folk dancing, fusion dance, kids activities, interactive yoga, classical dance, Indian foods. Fun for every family member. Please come to the Ananda Mela Festival, July 30th and 31st. Find out about the different competitions you can enter into. There's a cooking competition. There's a jalebi eating competition. There's a chess competition and so many others. Find out about these things. Go to anandamela.org and find out how you can have fun at the Ananda Mela Festival. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you want to do kirtan? Grab it. No, grab it from the bottom. Also, we need volunteers for the Ananda Mela. This week we're gonna on Thursday night we're gonna begin our training for volunteers. If you would like to volunteer for the Ananda Mela Festival, please indicate who you are to me. And Thursday night we will have our first volunteer orientation meeting, and there are a lot of different fun things you can volunteer for. You can volunteer at the Ganga booth, where there's a fantastic display about Srimati Ganga Devi from Mount Kailash all the way down to Ganga Sagar, the Bay of Bengal. And you can learn how to explain the different holy places on the Ganga. There's also a booklet that we will give you. Secondly, there's the Vedic Village. We need volunteers to chaperone people through the Vedic Village, learn how to explain the different displays. We also have our children's fun area. There are a lot of things you can do there, and many other services. So if you would like to volunteer, please sign up for the Ananda Mela Festival volunteers. Hare Krishna. Go ahead. Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Radha Nil Madhav Radha Nil Madhav Radha Nil Madhav Radhe Radha Nil Madhav Radha Nil Madhav Radha Nil Madhav Radhe Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Sitaram Jaya Lakshmana Lakshmi Narsimha Jaya Lakshmi Narsimha 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 Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 जय हर नाम संकीर्तन की जय प्रभुपाद की